no. If you missed out last week, well, join this week. The recap is beautiful. And catch it, baby. I drew be an obetimissia at the Sana yes or see Babiee and Cassandra.
Of course, maturity is very, very important. Lady Rev, good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. Baby in so here.
Hey, and then I just say when I'm coming, I won't come
again.
My
child.
I feel that
it's my
I
child.
Feel he's taking the
he's taking the shine.
The shine. Oh, I am the one who carried him on.
Yeah, you're for shining him out.
Mary carried Jesus. You can't hail Jesus and forget them.
And Jesus left the carpentry.
Baby, I did.
You know, young como.
Oh, goodness. But maturity is a very serious subject in relationship. And I don't know if you're going to relationship, we consider that even before you're going to it. Because I feel, say, when we talk about maturity in relationship, are we talking about age? And are we talking about information you know about the relationship?
All right, so I think you missed out on last week. So
I did.
It's not. We clearly underline that it's not about age. It is your experience and how to put the experience into a useful solution plan for yourself and others. And see, maturity is how you make good use of the things that you have experienced to produce results for yourself and others. If it's just for yourself, you're not matured yet. Others should be able to benefit.
But do you agree with me, say, certain experiences comes with age? Into no, what can say experience? I will be why if you are and we school or go into relationship and I say, well, no school no one relationship, my no all baby worry. Let me just put it like that. On shedenya a lot of experiences into no. Or yet some maturity.
You know, thing about relationship is that you don't take just relationship experiences into relationship experiences. You mature through the circles of life, and then you use them in the relationship. You might have not been directly involved with someone, but you have seen, you have heard, and you have been able to try it with friends.
Okay, so then that goes beyond experience. It becomes information that you have as well.
So your maturity is not just in the area of the relationship. If not, you are limiting yourself.
So you're not supposed to take the experience into experiencing.
Yes.
You know, another
you can even look at your parents. And I keep saying that if people appreciate what they do with the telenovelas, it's also a medium of maturing. Because it's a playback, or it's a playback of what is really happening in people's relationship. And you don't just get excited about a character, but if you watch it and you can put yourself in a certain character, you learn from it.
Okay.
So by the time you have your hands on, it feels as if you say you've been there for far too long. Like, you know, you've been there before, but you haven't been there before.
I like the part where you said to living through the other people's characters.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is how you are able to build your own level of maturity. So last week we said maturity was a choice. You don't sleep and wake up and the next day you said you are matured. No, you ought to make a decision. I'm going to be matured. The next one, it's wait on invite. Maturity waits on invite. It doesn't just jump into it. Knowledge will jump into it. You know, gossip will jump into it. You know, but maturity will wait for the question, what do you think? Or how do you think we should go about it? The next one is maturity doesn't entertain rumors and doesn't look for it neither. There's one thing entertaining and there's another thing going to search for the rumor even when it doesn't exist. And then we talked about maturity is concerned about others' reputation as well. So when a mature person is talking about another person, you are quite concerned on how you are addressing the issue and everything, because you don't know tomorrow. It could be you in the same situation. This week, we are moving on to maturity communicate with clarity. It communicates with clarity. It communicates with clarity. And clarity on basis that from introduction to conclusion, maturity knows what they are addressing. It is not bypassing the issue. If I am addressing late night homecoming with my husband, from beginning to the end, that is what I am addressing.
Don't
side examples of things that doesn't exist, that you assume or you hope, you know, it wouldn't help the situation.
Oh, wow.
How does the late coming affect the home? It affects the children. It doesn't make them see their daddy for their homework, even though he's working, which we appreciate, A, B, and C, and D, and D. Make the person know that you have thought through.
Okay.
So before we begin to communicate as partners, we think about it. You have an analysis and you are able to talk clearly. By the time you are done, the person might have not even looked at it from that angle.
Yeah.
But because you have been able to, you know, pinpoint it, or the person see it, okay. Clarity communication, rather than making the person feel guilty or useless for the things that they are doing. And if you don't come home, and if you don't call me, and you don't do this, and you don't do this, and this, so if somebody comes, the person care, those who are dating, if somebody comes and the person care about me, as for me, I'll go. It feels as if you are communicating with threat.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's like, it's a breast in her bottom.
Yes.
You know, you are supposed to communicate it to the understanding of the person. And let the person agree with you. The best, I tell people the secret. The best way to communicate to people is to let them understand that from their point of view, they are right. When you give the person the impression that from your point of view, you are right.
When they are right or when they are wrong.
Lady Rev, what if they are not
right?
They
could be wrong. They could be wrong.
Okay.
They could be wrong. But letting them know from the instant that they are wrong will not give you basis for you to let them know they are fully wrong. So I was going to say that let them know they are right, but by the time you are done, you let them know that they are entirely not right.
Oh, Lady Rev, oh, Pia or Mantem. What person will catch a point blank? So, whoop Pia, one Mantem. Ebia or no, or the good sitting so. What person can say, I didn't make some better so into wood wipe it.
Right. So
Lady Rev,
let me explain.
Yeah, what person, hold on now, now, cano, and yeah, day. Now, can I day? Now, can I yeah, okay, I understand.
I am helping you rather. I am helping you build. I'm helping you build your point right.
Because you are not happy, but now, can I day? Say, Onipa no ade na oye ne ye wrong. Yen sha se nkan kire na wo ye ne ye. And when favor yes ah, mam yensa ne tena ha ye study.
All right.
I'm going to use your example. You know, it's even kids and everything. Your partner or bano yusu water closet na, you know, or you saw baby na we you know, it's untidy. Let's say that way. Now we jana untidy. Inti Lady Rev now pesa o chance do am say oh minim say wo se wugina ho na se bo pesa o do so wo se wugina ho inti na egugugu so mete wase say o se wugina ho but ye be we conversation na de na waye no enye ne sa enu na menti
let me stick to the same example. Let me stick. So honey, I know, you know, I think that this weaving on the seat thing is your habit. Yeah, you've done it for quite a long time.
And you're right.
I know. You've done it for quite a long time.
Your mommy allowed you to do it.
Nobody actually, you know, prompted you that it's not cool. Or I'm sure other people tried to let you know, but yeah, you are the man, so you didn't take it. Truth of the matter is that I know what you think. And I just want to tell you that in as much as in your head, you think that you just have to wee and go and just leave it because someone will come and clean it, it's not hygienic. And it's not the best.
Okay, you too be say best know what's up now my words because I'm not sure say.
You see, at the point I have gotten his attention that I have noticed you've done it for far too long. And sometimes I even talk about it. And I stop talking about it not because I think it's okay. Then he's at a pause. He gives me an attention. And let you know that, you know what you do, I don't stand. I sit on it. The kid sits on it. I have a high possibility of having a UTI or an infection or anything out of what you do.
Now, we can Matthias here, but if fana starting man make it right. No, what I mean is
okay, no, sir.
No problem. No,
we are so fun to make
the latter part now. Come on, now we didn't hear. And no, the ever so life.
Yeah.
But the beginning, no, now I walk. I say I was so much as me seen the fella say, "Nia, what ye ne ye." ansa na wa ma ne hunu se ne wo ye na enhye dan nyesa sa na ka no.
So the principle is that let the person feel you're right, and by the time you're done, you let them know that they're not entirely right.
So you want to say pampering?
Exactly.
Yes,
I also feel like there's a bit of pampering. But Lady Rev.
And I know that it doesn't.
Good, and you go with pampering, it takes the urgency out of the message you're communicating. Adia wuye enye mibuefu enye. How do I now say, oh, minim se we be man minim se we oh mama anka nche se menjo and minim se oh Lady Rev. Does it not take the seriousness out of what is being addressed?
I think that seriousness sends a message, okay, and being lame also sends a message. Thing is that when we are dealing with people that we are connected to emotionally, okay, and we decide to go the very hard way, it works at some times and doesn't work at some time. Hard way is your last lot. The day that hard call comes out, they know, say.
They know, say. Fire for fire.
That day, if it doesn't change. You will change.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay,
but if you start with hard all the time, it becomes
a normal.
Easy, babe. And a babe. This one, this and that. She holding me. But you know, if they see your beast once a while, they salute the beast and don't want to see it again. And so these are precautions. 1, 2, 3. We've said it nicely. That day we've said it 3, 4 times, and you decide not to listen. And we release Mrs. Babiee Dappah into the house. That day you will clap. That day you will take a brush and mop the thing.
You'll be scrubbing the bathroom yourself.
Exactly. Because maturity gives platform for others to also exhibit the things that they want to do. And so you have given the person the platform for them to, and you've spoken about it nice. And they can attest to the fact that you have done it, you know.
Nicely.
So the day it's Pascal.
Okay.
Now we get it.
Now we get it. Yeah.
Hey, yo. The next one, maturity always have a backup plan. Mature people have a backup plan. You know, last week when I mentioned, I heard you said, oh, even the person cried, there's a backup. It's a backup plan, not backup persons. Maturity, because you think through things. You always know that if plan A doesn't work, approach A doesn't work, approach B would work. There's always something you can fall on. You never meet a mature person who says, I'm done, I don't know what to do. Then you didn't think through it. Once you have thought through it, once it didn't go like this, and you really want to keep the relationship, let's try it this way. We figure it out. And I'll tell you the reason why it looks like younger ladies or younger guys are now much in love with the older people. It's because they always have a backup plan. They've walked through life in a certain dimension that they know, say, if we do it this way, it doesn't work, we do it that way. So the younger one is pretty doing nothing. We are just following the plans they are putting.
That's what we say, I like mature men.
I like mature men. I like mature. And now we have attached it to the older ones. So the matured are the old. They are quite young guys who are equally mature. Because everybody also want to have, you know, if mine doesn't work, yours should work. Or if my plan doesn't seem to be okay, we should agree on plan B or plan C. But if your plan is just one.
Let's talk about red flags. In the plan A, plan B, plan C. Niamechene say, edu baby a, oni ni pebiti a. Let me I wadam for na BB. No, when we speak about relationship, we're talking about a wide range. Oyere okuno. Down for any relationship on home. And if you just joined in, we are asking, is it a big deal, maturity in relationship? In common, you go see, you know, red flags. Obi wa I want to partner, whoever it is. Niyama biya or ye no consistently. Tiase, ejiri plans egu. On say, ni nipa. Into nipa ni yese ya. Watch ya no nipa, because you know I always say you never know anybody entirely till you die. You know, they keep popping up. Situations make people do things. No matter what.
We are becoming.
Into not red flags no. Obi wa no mo a we hu niyama bi I watched TV and I saw a certain conversation also going on. I always watch other things, you know. Same conversation going on. Now, I would be or say, Edu baby, you are giving so many red flags for you to know that, yo, plan B, C, D is not going to work. Otia say, so it is time for you
to move out.
Because we are talking about plans, when is it tolerant? And when is it not? Oh, plan A, plan B, no ebekoso. To say, or partner, no, let's still use that example about pain, you know, on the water closet, knowing very well, saying, yeah, one kwan, I said, oh, you should abuse, no. I for France you so there be aba, no why your hobasa, well, and no, or quite be on himself, ubetimi aka, obi or cry, or no, or mre, or petri, there be a bacochi, there be a bacochi, your maybe so, there be a bacochi, there be a bacochi, on can want someone down. You'll be so on more, or back one some making sure say a bejai, because on him, son, she yan and man so be we have different types of people and the things they do in relationship. At what point is it tolerant? At what point do you see the red flag and say, yo, this is an out? There's no plan C, D.
So I'm saying, this is what I say. Maturity has room for people to display before they judge. So you have given all the rooms for the people, the platform for the person to, you know, turn around. You've been around trying to ship it out and it doesn't work. The fact that you are matured doesn't mean that you can always find a solution to somebody's life.
Exactly.
Maturity knows when to act and when not to act. It's in my book.
Okay.
It knows when to stop and when to move on. So your instinct of maturity will tell you, say, plan A, B, and C, the red flags are still showing. This is not going to change anytime soon. Hit the move button or the out button.
Yeah.
It knows when to move. It knows when to act. It knows when to be quiet. It is a test of your maturity to know whether to stay or to move.
That makes sense.
Do you understand? Your maturity is tested when you know when to, I got to talk. I'm not going to talk. I have to move on. I don't have to move on.
That's in itself.
In itself.
Maturity.
It's a test of your maturity. So last week we said that it is not just in fine words, it is your ability to handle issues when they are right in front of you. So when you have done the A, B, C, and I probably had even given an extra E, and maybe a bonus of an F, and the red flags are still the same, you can't tell me you are so mature that you want to change the human being. It won't work.
Oh, Cassandra, it's bringing my mind to maturity and tolerance as well, and that's a maturity and patience. Intimihune say it's also an attribute to there.
It's maturity, like say maturity, birth patience, it births tolerance, it births understanding, it births less judgmental. It births my next principle is say it has ears to listen and understand. People listen but they don't understand. Exactly. Mature people, they hear, they listen. They're not just hearing you, they listen to you and they understand you, not with their understanding, but with your understanding.
Okay.
Because if I can't get it from your head, what do you mean? I can't meet you halfway.
Okay.
That touches something. That is how come you can be forgiving. Because I had a friend that had a problem with me about things I make slide. It will sound difficult, but you know, when I'm not in this seat, I'm a better person anyway. You know, like things I make slide. What? Yeah. How do you? I say I put myself in that person's shoes. It don't matter whether or no. Yeah, but I want to understand
from their angle
why you would do that. And you see, another friend thought it was weak. Another friend thought it was weird the way I easily make things slide. As in, really, you're not going to talk about. You're not angry. You're not.
Yes.
Said, I am angry, but I'm not. So I'm not. It's not rage. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
You know, rage is like I'm angry. Let me not use the word. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed, okay.
I'm unhappy. I'm disappointed. But nipa intino adie na bema no be ye nea wo ye no. Eno na me pese mete ase. Intino se mete ase a, then we know what to do.
Yeah.
So yes, na my friends and say, but this is plain. You don't need to understand. I said, nipa biya wania e mane ye nia woye.
Yes.
Anameboa.
Yeah.
Intino, I think you said it best. Patience, tolerance, understanding.
Understanding.
I think
Understanding
also,
not just you, your way. You know, people are walking in the street of life thinking that, well, I don't understand because it doesn't work for me. I don't get it. I've heard people who say, I don't get it why somebody will get pregnant and then they abort. I don't get it. I don't get it why. And when I see their energy saying, I don't get it, I can ask, are you okay? It's because you have not been there before. And I share experience. When I was quite young, my confidence was in my thighs and in my boobs because they were nice. So I would always find myself wearing shorts. I'm going to work and I'm in shorts, my kind of job, So sometimes I even tell my friends that, you know what, let me just stand by the road, just park behind me. I'll get somebody giving me a lift. Because that was where my confidence was. I believe to say, you won't get it wrong with my hairy thighs and my boobs. That was my understanding of confidence. Now, years forward, I've grown. And I realized that my confidence is nowhere in my thighs and my boobs. My confidence is somewhere far away from my thighs and my boobs. So when I meet somebody who is confidently exposing thighs and boobs, and another person tells me, why do you think in a very hot afternoon, this girl will wear this? I don't understand. I just look at the person and say, are you okay? You haven't traveled to the school of life.
Yes.
Because we understand the lady catwalk.
Yes.
We have been there.
Yes.
We done that and do that and more.
Yes.
She said this afternoon, she feels she's on point. And she's displaying.
And very well,
so understanding people,
understanding people from people's point of view is a sign of maturity.
No correct.
So don't just go and sit down and say, I've heard you. Yes, everything that you
now
have
you
said.
understand my Talia picture, the one on Instagram, where I'm telling you that I look back at a 10-year-old picture and I'm like,
yes.
Well,
yes.
There will be a time that, and you were talking about, your ties, and I said, I put hand for breast and swear that it will be a time that, it wouldn't matter the best shoe, the shoe that you wore that time, the designer clothes that you were in that time, and all that, and you see, it will be on the stage, Yes. They don't grow out of it anyway. But some people do
grow out of it.
And now you think that, you see, it's about how well you have lived, what you've learned, how you've loved, who you've loved, who you've laughed with, the memories, small. That is for me personally. But so you have to learn to understand the other person.
They might not be always right. You see, just listen and try to get it. Just listen and try to get it. There are people who are doing weird things, weird stuff, because they say, nobody understands me. Nobody understands me. They're not saying people are not listening. They're saying people are listening, but they don't understand. And love is beautiful when you understand. The Bible says that wisdom is a principal thing, but in all you're getting, gets understanding in the book of Proverbs. Because understanding it's a revelation on its own. You can't have wisdom and yet not understand other people. And not just walk in your own understanding. Get understanding means that you have understanding, but get understanding of other situations as well.
Exactly.
Now, I think the first thing you ought to do is that when you're listening to people, be their character.
Okay.
Be the person's character. Imagine yourself in their shoes. Put your 2.5 horsepower brain aside and begin to think with your 0.5 horsepower.
Okay.
Because if you are going to use your 2.5 horsepower to think about what they are doing, you won't get it.
What dream best say?
Take time. And, understanding people also takes time.
Rev, does it not also distort who you are? One, because you constantly have to, you are high IQ person, or you think in a certain way, or you're fast-paced, you constantly have to put that down to come and sit in this one and say, oh, I understand that because you are coming from here and this and that.
We all three are mothers.
Yes.
You didn't start racing, running with a child with your IQ.
I get it, but this one, relationship, we're not talking about a child here.
People who are so grown, and last week we agreed that they are extremely childish. They might have been CEOs, but business entrepreneurs, have business ideas, but they are emotionally illiterate.
Will that not, after a while of you doing it constantly and distorting who you are, Anna, doesn't it change who you like? It disturbs your personality because you constantly have to.
So that's why we
settle for less.
We know when to act, and we are not settling for less. We are just given room to understand. You're not settling there. The fact that I understand you doesn't mean that I am there with you. I just want to see how we can, run this race together.
If you constantly have to go there and come, wouldn't you be pulled in there?
Baby raise flag, red flag,
yes.
A, B, and C. We've done it the first time, the second time, the third time. There's no change. We are not supposed to be there.
Can I ask you a question for someone? Also, your program this morning is very educative. Thank you. Also, honestly, I think you guys are talking to my ex-husband. I wish he watches this. Trafa Sendeno. We say good morning. As I'm beside you. Or say, nani je na ye kana ho na opese obi sese o se ni nua ba aware na oye adwuma yi small business bi na de bia adwuma na wo ye na be ye kese biara no ye ne sister ne kunu no ene ne baba abeko na waje ye ne store keys no until the store ni mu emunyama ni na asa na afi wasama ni sika se on san shase ye biem. I think I know there are people that have complex.
The husband is kind of the wife's success. Straight up, she's just scared because what's the point in coming to take everything that she has built and you give her capital to start again, and she will start it again and it will be successful. And so it's like an inferiority complex. You're just scared that your wife could do better than you were doing. But ideally, she has to do better, not just for herself, but for the home that you are building. If you're making millions and she's making millions, what's wrong?
For such a person, advice being, like she's asking, what do you do?
So I'm quite careful when the story is one way. Because the man could also say, as the shop is getting bigger, the pride is getting bigger. So one of the things I have told myself in my journey of work, it's always at least have a two side of the story. Maybe if I tell me your side, you tell me your side. What do you see? The other person too might have another side. So I can only say that she should have a conversation with her husband.
That's maturity.
Understand what's going wrong. What do I do wrong? Why do you always have to make me restart it again? Do I show traits of disrespect or anything? If those things are cleared and you realize that it's a clean table, then we can start looking at the situation that is just a man's problem.
All right. Lady Rev, today is, I'm just chilled in my seat because I've learned so much about maturity. Like I said in the morning, we practice it. Into me, from Lady Rev and about the importance of maturity in relationship. I hope so also we see Babiee and thank you so very much, Lady Rev.
Thank you.
Right, it's another wrap for the midweek edition of the Max Morning. Yameya Dumwa Ochina Napa will be bringing you another exquisite episode of the Max Morning. I hope you are up and doing something for yourself. TCL flash sale is happening right now.